DeRo and the Diehard. We're back. It's episode 6. We're feeling good. Lots to cover on this episode of the DeRo and the Diehard podcast. As usual, I'm Ben Botelho, your co-host, alongside with the legendary Dwayne D. Rosario. How you doing, DeRo?
Fantastic. Episode 6, man. It's flying.
It's flying by.
It's amazing. So much to cover. Such an exciting time. Leagues are on pause, international friendlies, World Cup qualifiers, teams qualifying for the World Cup.
Indeed.
Man, it's getting juicy.
Oh, it is. It is. And, you know, as much as I enjoy a little international football, especially when our boys in red are playing, I'm glad to have club football back this week. And I got to say it. I mean, the quality's there. So why don't we just dive right into there? We had a discussion about Canada at length last week. We actually kind of went through their entire squad. And after that, they had 2 games. They faced off against Australia and then Colombia after that. I wouldn't say it was a successful international break for them or any friendlies for that matter. They lost against Australia and then they held their own against Colombia. So your initial thoughts on that performance of this leg and how Jesse Marsch is handling the team and his team selection? What are your thoughts on it?
Well, first, it's nice to see Canada play, especially in Montreal.
Yep.
We haven't played in Montreal for a while.
Years, I think.
You know,
yeah.
Kudos to the fans. Great environment you guys created over in Montreal in the Stade Saputo Stadium. They came out in the red and white supporting Canada. Disappointing result at the end of the day in front of our Prime Minister and, of course, in front of the president of FIFA. But what I saw there was a complacent Canadian team that just came off 2 very positive results in Europe and thought maybe this Australian team would have been a lot more easier than we expected, to our detriment. And I think it was a real eye opener because it gave Jesse Marsch the opportunity to try 1 or 2 different players, but also, for a country, we need to be very clear. We're not in no position to take any teams lightly. Yep. Home, away, whatever the case is, right? That was a great opportunity for us to stamp to the world what's going to come next year in 2026, because that's on home soil there. Our players have to be able to manage themselves. I'm not saying whatever they're doing off the field, but they just seem flat. And I don't know if it was because of the environment, a little bit of nerves, playing in front of the president of FIFA, playing in front of the prime minister, you know, coming back to Canada, getting 2 positive results in Europe. So I'm gonna blame it on all those things, and maybe it was just, you know, it was just a lot for a lot of the players to manage and handle, because what I saw was a flat Canadian team.
I totally agree. I think the theme of across these 2 games against vastly different opponents, I mean, in terms of style and play, in terms of quality, was that complacency was there, and also just a lack of defensive awareness. I found that even against Australia at times, while they were attacking with intention, and there was a lot of progressive movement in their play, and you could really tell that a goal was coming, as that quote goes. Whenever they gave the ball up, it looked unorganized to me. It looked like they were scrambling to get back into their positions, and then they're right away susceptible. So against Australia, like you said, you can't really do that. It's a little bit of a precursor to 2026. But against Colombia, I mean, they nearly lost the game, I want to say, a dozen times because of these mistakes and being complacent. So maybe you're right. I'm not going to take too much positivity from that performance against Australia. Like, they lost the game, and we were just talking about how their ranking was too low. This does not help the cause.
Let's be honest here. Okay, I know people think of Australia and like, oh, Australia. But Australia's a decent team.
Of course.
Australia's qualified for every World Cup, from my recollection. So Australia has a very growing, strong league in Australia. Australia's national team, shout out to Tim Cahill, my boy, doing great things for Australian football and his post-career. But Australia's always been a force to be reckoned with in the world of football, right? So let's get that straight. We're not playing a small team. Australia's by no means like a walkover team, or we should easily have a 3 points against Australia. In saying that, it's good that now, as Canadian fans are now saying, okay, now we want to see results, which is positive, which is great. This is where we want to be. This is what we work towards. This is how we establish, and as we spoke about, being our ranking, right? Dropping to 26.
26,
right?
yeah.
And like you said, does it help? No, but it would help more, of course, if we win. And I would take away some positives. I mean, of course, early on in the match, Buchanan could have gotten a penalty shot. Should have gotten a penalty shot.
I agree with that.
Whatever the case is. I'm not sure why the VAR wasn't present during these friendlies or even for the Colombia game.
It's confusing for me because it's always
the game.
It's always there in Europe,
Right.
And it's there when it's like an official match, but then it's a friendly and they don't use VAR. I don't know if it's to save time or no, but you're right. It's a match. It's part of the game now.
Right.
Why is it not there?
And if it's a FIFA sanctioned game, which they both are,
Yeah.
it helps with rankings, and we need to implement the VAR because had we had that, definitely Buchanan's would have been a penalty shot.
Yeah.
But we did see some chances early on. Lots of chances early on. We just have to find a way to finish. I said this last week, and I'll say it again. We can't just rely on Jonathan David to always score for us. Hats off to the guy, man. I thought he played a fantastic game against Colombia.
Yep.
Even though he was dropping deeper into the midfield to get the ball, his passing accuracy, his decision making, his speed. I even saw him in the defending third and got a ball and turned and penetrated right up the heart of the Colombian midfield and passed it wide to Buchanan. Man, the guy is really performing, but for me, he's doing a lot of the dropping back because maybe he's not seeing a lot of the ball, or he's just realizing my team needs me and he's willing to do whatever it takes. But when he does that now, we need someone to push that line back now.
Yeah.
That defensive line back. And like I said, we can't just depend. We can trust on him to score. He will score. Unfortunately, it was an offside goal against Colombia.
It was very unlucky. I mean, it had something to do with the goal. It was a direct pass, but the way I think Schaffelberg came back onside, and it was like a matter of feet. So
but he finished it. What a finish!
He finished it. It's a technicality, and
give
I'm happy
give him
he did
chances. He's gonna finish. Now we gotta find ways to create more chances. I like the fact that yes, Saliba. We saw he could strike a ball. We need to see him striking the ball more. We saw Buchanan lively again. We saw him taking players on.
Yeah.
He struck a great strike against Colombia. Keeper,
great save,
fantastic save. But that's what we need. We need to be a little bit more dynamic in our attack, which means, shooting the ball from 20, 25, 30 yards. I love that. I love bangers from 20, 30 yards.
I love it,
because
man.
what happens now, it forces the defense to step their line where we can find passes in behind. I saw a little bit of Kyle Larin get a little frustrated later on in the game because a couple times Buchanan broke the line on the wings and could have played the ball, but it was a little off, in the middle. That's going to happen. Frustration's going to happen. But we really need to figure out who's going to help put goals in the back of the net, put that ball in the back of the net.
If it's not Kyle Larin helping JD up front, then who in your mind can step up and fill those shoes? Because I do agree with what you said, and also,
we have Promise coming off the bench. He's a promise. He's promising for sure.
Yeah,
I love to see these young youths. I know it's new environments for these guys. Promise has never played, with all due respect. He's played some minutes, right? He's definitely got some minutes. More minutes is going to help him get a little bit more confidence. He's just had a change of environment, managing that, and then going to play with the national team. It's all about getting into that rhythm and understanding. Okay, I play club for a couple weeks, even, or not even a month, couple weeks, and then boom, you're gone to the national team to represent your national team.
Yeah, it's tough.
Right? It's
a quick
demanding,
turnaround. Yeah,
right. It's a quick turnaround, and a lot of the fans or the soccer fans doesn't understand those dynamics, right? When you play club soccer, that's one level. When you go to the national team, you have to find a way to raise your bar now.
Oh yeah.
Despite the travel, despite the new environment, despite playing with a player that I haven't played a lot of minutes with, we have to have an understanding. We have to gel. We have to click. And I think in the Australia game, we were lacking that quite a bit.
They weren't sharp. And,
No.
and I think my biggest concern over these two games was that, first of all, the era from Nico Seeger on the Australia goal, like that, I don't want to see that again because that is just a breakdown defensively.
Yeah.
And I found that to be the theme across the board. And the trouble is that you can do that, not to put down Australia. You can do that against Australia sometimes, and
we can't.
You
it
can't,
showed.
but you can do it more so against this team, and they won't. They'll score 1, and you can get away with maybe you'll draw the game, maybe you'll score 2, and you'll win the game, but you'll be lucky in doing so. They did this again, a dozen times against Colombia at the worst times
late in the game,
and it got closer and closer and closer to going in the net. And come 2026, let's say Colombia's in the group stage, they're not going to be flat.
Or Australia.
These teams are going to put that in the net 4 to 5 times. That's tournament football. Yeah. You get a few chances, you have to put them away in order to win. So I would like to see a little bit of a tighter tempo, tighter form, a little bit of a faster, more intentional tempo. I also found that the team was playing very narrow, which is odd to me because Buchanan for me was the star of this break. I think he, I haven't seen too many amazing things from him recently, especially since he moved away from Inter. He's a wide player. He's a wing player. He starts from the wing. He cuts into the center. That's how he creates his chances. That's how he creates danger for the opposing back line. They need to spread out a little bit because when they're on the counterattack and you're giving that ball to Buchanan and it's too narrow, then what's the point? It's going to get swallowed up by the center back.
Well, I think we did see that in the Colombia game. I thought
we used, bit more than usual.
We used the width a little bit better. It's difficult when you have a 7-11, 2 wide midfielders. Mm-hmm. They want to cut in. We were talking about this earlier in our episodes about the wide players that get down the wing and cross the ball to the floor, the headed, which suits a Kyle Larin more than anything else.
Poacher.
Right? Yeah. But if we don't have players that get down the line and whip crosses in, these players become non-effective. And I don't like to see that for a player like Kyle Larin because he's becoming non-effective because the service towards his expertise is not there. Mm-hmm. He's a guy that if you cross the ball, he's going to head it. He's going to get his body on it. We've seen it in the World Cup qualifiers. Yeah. We've seen it time and time again. So we need to figure out how to create an environment of players that suit his profile. Jonathan David is different. He can play the ball to you. He can turn. You can play through the channels. He could take you on. He could use his speed. He could be dynamic. Unfortunately, Kyle Larin just doesn't have the legs to do that. And that's not really his game. His game is get down the wing, cross the balls in, set pieces, and let him get his head or let him get his body on it. But in saying that, again, there is some positives. I mean, when you look at it, Canada did dominate possession. We were dominated passing, shots, and corners. That's what you want to see at home, right? Yeah. But at the end of the day, that means nothing if it's 0. We talk about the Barca way, right? That's all good. That tiki-taka football is all good. But if you don't have an end result, that means nothing.
Yeah,
it's beautiful to watch, but if we don't put the ball in the net and get W's, then we need to find a way to do that. I did see again, and I'll say it again, Eustáquio. You could see a different team against Australia than when he plays in the midfield.
Yeah.
Joy to watch.
Yeah, I mean, he's
connector.
Brilliant. Yeah.
Plays with composure. It's calm in that midfield. Just gives us I just feel like we feel a lot more confident when we play with Eustáquio in that midfield.
Well, is he the solution to the problem that you're raising here? Because, I see we're both talking about a link. There needs to be a link between the first phase of play and the last phase of play. And, I'm thinking maybe we drop Jonathan David back a little bit more into an attacking midfielder role because he can do it. He's brilliant on the ball. He's a brilliant passer of the ball. And Larin, that's not his skill set. But if Jesse Marsch does not want to do that, we've seen Eustáquio do this in the past. Can he be that connector that you're talking about? Can he be that guy that breaks those lines?
Most definitely. I think we saw that even late in the Colombia game.
He
played a great ball on the left wing to Schaffelberg.
Yeah. And
then Schaffelberg lost it, and then he was right there to compete the second, third ball. He can do it. He's got the legs. He can play both sides. He's a two-way midfielder that can get the ball from our back line or from Dane Sinclair, who I'll talk about as well. Had a great game, made a huge save to keep us 0-0. But I think Eustáquio is a key piece to this team moving forward, and it continuously shows because I just think it was a more dynamic midfield against Colombia than it was against Australia. Like you said, Tajon Buchanan, great performance. Dane Sinclair, big save, showing his leadership, really making a case for being a starting keeper. One player, again, Richie Larea.
Love that guy.
Beast up and down.
Great.
But as I said before, we have to find ways to limit fouls in and around the 18-yard box. It will punish us.
Yeah. There was a lot of that between these two games. And like, again, I think this goes into the overall topic of what we're discussing about how they weren't as sharp as they usually are.
3 yellow cards.
Yeah.
And we got to manage that, especially going into World Cup. And I like the fact Jesse wants us to play on our front foot. He wants us to be in their face, be aggressive.
Yeah.
But it has to be controlled aggression. I know he wants us to play out the back, right, and find the pockets. But we also have to be direct sometimes.
I got to tell you, I'm not a fan of that. I don't think there are certain teams that are suited to playing out from the back. There are certain teams that are not. Not to say that we're not technical enough for that style of play, but I think it would be better suited for us to not play out of the back.
I disagree. I think we can do it, but there's times where the game doesn't allow it, and we have to play direct.
You have to be adaptable, yeah.
We have players that can play out the back. We have players that are comfortable under pressure.
Yeah.
Now, if you just play Route 1 soccer, imagine playing, imagine John Dave going, maybe England, a team that is used to aerial game, or Germany. They're going to just control that ball and you're never going to get out, right? So we have to find ways to keep the ball. But there's moments where 100%, we have to play direct. We have to turn the other team, use our speed. We're blessed with speed. We're blessed with athleticism. Direct play. Get it up the field at times. Let Buchanan run. Let Jonathan David run. Let whoever's on the left, Schafferberg, whoever else that player's promise who has speed. Let these players let their legs go.
Yeah, my only counter to that is that there's an interesting stat that came out of the Premier League, and it was showing the difference between the top 5 players who had the most touches in 2010 or something, and then the top 5 players who had the most touches in 2024. And in 2010, you had the likes of Lampard, Gerrard, midfielders, deep line midfielders. In 2024, 4 of the 5 were all center backs. Now, I look at that stat, and if I'm relating it to Canada, I would rather have Kone, Estacio, or somebody else on the ball creating or, beginning that phase 1 play than as much as I like Bombito or Cornelius or Schaffelberg or Larea. Like, I'd rather have these players on the ball at the beginning of the play to bring the ball up. Now, whether that is achieved through playing out from the back or it's achieved through second ball in, that's who I want on the ball.
Yeah.
Let's move on to a little club football now. The English Premier League returns this weekend, and the highlight fixture for everybody watching football, at least on the English side, is Manchester United versus Liverpool. They're taking them on at Anfield. Both teams, surprisingly, on Liverpool's side, in kind of a rut. They're on, I believe it's 3 straight losses. Crystal Palace, Galatasaray in the Champions League, and then Chelsea, the game we discussed before. And then Man U, which is just the eternal dumpster fire. There is a lot that could go into this match. These two teams are actually surprisingly close to one another. Man U are 10th in the league table at 10 points, but Liverpool are second. They only have 15 points. It's very early in the season for something like this game to really shake up that table. We always talk about Emery once in a while because the situation is so chaotic, and he's almost like he's gonna get fired every other match. Apparently, he's been giving a timeline of 3 years. I don't know if I believe it. There's also concerns over the Liverpool manager now. So I want to get your initial thoughts on this game. What do you expect Man U to do, and how can they keep themselves in this game?
Well, Manchester United better pray. I'm telling you. No, honestly, because, 3 losses in a row. They're playing in Anfield. Losing is not an option for Liverpool. It's just not an option.
Not.
What concerns me the most about Manchester United is 7 matches, 11 goals against. 11 goals against in 7 matches. That just speaks.
Can't go on like this, can it?
Concern.
It can.
Major red flags.
That's really ugly.
Yeah, 11 goals against. That is terrifying against a Liverpool team that I think has 13 goals for.
They just score. That's all this team does.
They score,
they
right?
put the ball in the back of the net.
It could be a high-scoring game, and it could be a nightmare for Manchester United.
Mm-hmm.
Manchester United, 10th place. They have so much to play for. it's like, but you don't know what you're gonna get. Manchester United has been so inconsistent this year.
Yeah.
You don't like. It's hard to gauge what's gonna happen with their performance.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm telling you this. I know this for a fact. Liverpool is coming to this game, licking their chops, and saying, "We need to win this game.
100%.
We need 3 points out of this." And push back on Arsenal, who's now just taken first place of the Prem. It's going to be a tough uphill battle for Manchester United playing at Anfield, and like I said, they need to pray.
Well, it's a difficult situation because, like you said, I mean, Liverpool, they need to win debatably more than Man U. I mean, 3 losses in a row for a club of this quality, for a team of this quality, that cannot happen. Then they're at it.
But Man U beats Chelsea.
That's what I'm saying. So
and then lose to Brentford.
It
beat Sunderland.
It doesn't make any sense.
They're all over the place right now.
The second that Man U gets something good going for them, and they're like, "Oh, well, this was a good performance. You know, Mason Mount looked good, and this guy, that's this fringe player, looked great." They throw it all away the next game, so they're due to throw it all away against Liverpool, and they haven't won back-to-back games. And I might be fact check on this, but I don't think they've won back-to-back games in the entire era of Ruben Amorim. That's a problem.
Okay, talking about clubs and talking about value, you know, Amorim is at the point where they're talking about 3 years, where Liverpool's in second place and they're already looking at the chopping blocks. Hey,
one more loss,
and it's you know, so it's like, I guess it's good for Emery to know he's got the club's support and he's supported by the club, but I don't think that's written in stone, and I can't believe that's written in stone because right now they're very vulnerable.
I have a list of results here, okay, from the last few seasons, against the last 3 years, okay? These are some of the notable results that Liverpool have gotten against Man U, all right? 7-0, 5-0, 4-0, and 3-0.
Ouch.
That's bad. And I'm worried that after this team lost 3 in a row, you're right, they have to prove themselves, not just to themselves, they got to prove themselves to the whole league, because we're forgetting Arsenal play a day before. Arsenal play Fulham. They're likely going to win that game. And then that's putting, like any league, that's putting pressure on the team, the second place team playing the next day. Hey, it's time to win. It's time to get back into the form. It's time to make it a title race.
I'm sorry to all you Manchester United fans out there. It's been a difficult run, and this upcoming fixture is not looking good for you. It's not looking good at all.
Yeah.
Pray. Manchester United fans, pray
for it. On to our next topic. Now, this is one I didn't think we were going to be discussing probably ever again after he made his move back to Brazil, honestly. According to Fabrizio Romano, Neymar is open to a return to Europe. Last summer, his agent Pini Zahavi had offered him to multiple clubs in all leagues. Serie A, can you believe that? A big superstar returning. Apparently, Napoli and Inter were interested. Obviously, it didn't go through. Napoli and Inter went different ways, and Inter actually went for Amadou Lookman, and they didn't get him, so the space is still there for him. Napoli went with Højlund and went with De Bruyne, but moral of the story is Neymar right now isn't in contention for the Brazil team. Okay, he's been injured. I mean, he hasn't had an appearance in 2 years for this team. He had a horrible injury, he tore his meniscus and his ACL in a game in 2023 in October. And now there's a new coach, obviously Carlo Ancelotti's in there. He wants to be recalled ahead of the World Cup. He wants to make sure that his name is on one of those names of the 26 that are going to the States, Mexico, and here in Canada. Now, small caveat, I imagine if he wants to be there, he'll be there. It is Neymar. He is the leading scorer in their history. But do you think a return to Europe could help him get back into this team?
Man, this is a tough one. Neymar, what a player, but not the greatest team player. And that's kind of been his catalyst and his downfall for many years. We've seen it at PSG. It just doesn't fit into the team as well as probably we all would like, because he does bring so much value. He has so much talent, but he does a lot of things on the field that disrupts the flow and players put their head down because he creates a lot of isolation. Can he score goals? Can he create goals? Undoubtedly. Injuries definitely hurt him. When we look at Brazil, unfortunately in 2023, got injured, as you mentioned. 4 matches, 2 goals, 3 assists are decent numbers. But this is not Neymar 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29.
No.
This is Neymar 33 years old.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that he's washed up. I'm not saying that he's old, but he's weathered, right? 33 years old.
He's got an old body because he's been injured so much.
Right. But 33 years old now, you would like to see some experience shining, some leadership shining. So in that respect, a Neymar coming off the bench at 33 years old for Brazil, I'll be a little concerned. I'll be worried. He's going to come on. He's going to create some magic. Now, maybe that's what Ancelotti's looking at, to say, how can I best use this guy? Now, would he start? I don't know. Can he manage himself not starting? Is he okay not starting?
Yeah.
That's a whole nother discussion.
Yeah. I don't know.
Is he going to come into the team and be disruptive? I mean, to go to Europe now in this stage of his career, and the club is saying he's free.
Yeah. It's a desperation move.
Now, is that a desperation move on Neymar's part or the club side? So are they saying, listen, we don't want Neymar here.
Yeah. It's a good point.
We want to get him, we don't want him here. We've seen him, unfortunately, on social media, crying, pleading with the fans. The fans are disgusted from their performance.
Yeah.
Fans are showing up to their training. And that's not a good sign. That's not a good sign at all. So, I feel for the guy. I think Neymar just needs to, with all due respect, he needs to go back to the love, the passion that brought him the joy of football, and stay away from the limelight. Stay away from the partying. Stay away from the going out. Staying away from all the other BS stuff that takes you away or distracts you from the greatness that he can produce. There's no doubt in my mind, Neymar could still produce greatness, and he could still produce magical moments, and he can still be that world-class player. His window of doing that is this is his last World Cup.
It's over.
If he doesn't make this, it's done.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And if he doesn't make this, his career, we could be seeing him playing, who knows? I don't know.
I don't even know if he'll be playing anymore, to be honest with you.
So I would never love to see that at a player that was the talk of football across the globe, a player that has created special moments. But again, I've always said it was, especially with Brazilian players in particular, the nightlife, the partying, the social media, the hype sometimes supersedes. They lose that passion, that childhood passion for the game, the love and the pure joy of the game, and they get caught up into that. Now, financially, of course, he's secure, right? Yeah. But as fans, as lovers of the game, I want to see Neymar.
Everybody wants to see him.
I want to see him dancing. I want to see him shaking and baking on the side. I want to see him doing what he does best. What we all love Neymar for. The flash, the creativity, the imagination. What's lacking from this game, right? To be fair, in a lot of respects.
Yeah.
I can't see Ancelotti picking him just because he's Neymar. Ancelotti is going to do what's best for Brazil, and he's not afraid to make tough decisions.
I don't think he is either, no.
He's not afraid to make tough decisions, and Neymar knows he's in a position where it's either he focuses and puts in the work. I mean, look at the phenomenon. We all remember that, the triple R, as we talked about last episode. He got injured, and what did he do? He went to Brazil, he focused, and he just trained his behind off and ended up coming to Brazil and winning that World Cup for Brazil.
Yeah.
So Neymar could do the same, and he's focused. I'll tell you what, it could be trouble.
You see, when Neymar first came in, we all sensed a renewed hope in what Brazil could be in the next decade, and he's never lived up to that potential. Phenomenon did, and whilst they have a similar career trajectory of both getting injured and both just having a shortened prime because of these injuries, I look at Neymar and I see somebody who, quite frankly, in the last I don't know, man, 7 years has wasted his career away.
Well, it's tough to say. It's tough to say. I wouldn't say wasted his career.
I don't know, DeRo, but like, how serious can it be?
I don't think that's fair to say, to be honest. I think at his potential and what he can do is pretty special.
He can do anything he wants.
He's gifted. He's created an environment, like I said, for a lot of the antics on the field. I remember that social media thing where he's rolling. Yeah. Everyone has this rolling.
He went from here to Young Street, man.
But let's not forget, like he was it Qatar? He took a serious injury to his ankle. You know, that was a dangerous tackle.
He gets injured every 5 seconds, though,
but because of his he holds the ball and he dribbles a lot and that's his game. And that's what I'm saying. Sometimes as players you get frustrated because players are making runs and he's there. But when he plays and moves the ball and does it in the right areas,
it's brilliant.
Oh, it's amazing, man. It's joy to watch. And don't get me wrong, I like that little, like I said, like I called the shaking. Like I like it when he's shaking and baking on the side. Yeah. And, the fans like, hey. But like I said earlier, right? That all looks good, but there needs to be an end result.
But that's my point exactly. Is because nobody has ever argued his skill. Nobody's ever debated whether or not he can be amongst the greats in terms of his footwork and his flair and his dribbling. I mean, for Christ's sake, when he first came when he was playing at Barcelona, he was as good as two names that we both know are some of the greatest of all time. He was that guy. And I think ever since that PSG move, the only thing we've seen, apart from little fleeting moments, has been a profound disappointment from him. And I think especially since turning 30, he goes to Saudi. He ends up signing this ridiculous $200 million.
And played, what, 2 games, 3 games?
I think he played 6 games. No, I think he played less than that.
Yeah.
And like it's Saudi, and your retirement age, whatever. But you have to play.
For the game,
Ronaldo went there at 38, and he plays every
respect for the game.
Every game. So, and then I look at his off the field behavior, like you said. Here's a guy who quite literally has the world at his feet, financially, ability wise, love for the game. I wish he still had, right? And then we get to a point now where I want to play for the Brazil team. I want to go back to Europe and try again. Well, you know what, man? You've proven that you don't want that. You've proven to me that you've gotten all these chances. All these clubs have given you a chance to get back on your feet, to get back into the Brazil team, to put your name back out on the world stage as one of the world's very best. And every single time, you've come up empty. Every single time you've proved me that you don't want it that bad. So you talk about the love of the game and early on in his career, like we were talking about earlier, the love of the game that he had, it was so profound. It was so easy to spot because he played like it. He played like a kid in the schoolyard. But I question now if he even still has the love for the game anymore, DeRo. I got to be honest with you.
Well, I think he does have the love for the game. I think he's just trying to figure out how to love it again. I think he's just got lost a little bit, and that's fine. I mean, it's hard to be Neymar. Like, I mean, everywhere he goes, he's the center of attention, right? But I'm more concerned about his leadership role, being that he is 33 now. Can he really establish that leadership role? Can he help Brazil as a leader now, right? And really step into that and being the fact that he's probably come to that epiphany where it's like, shit, this might be my last chance here, and he's getting that love again, and he's getting that joy again, and playing, and he's back in Brazil, and he's, remembering what it feels like to bring back that love and that joy. The current club situation is not helping.
It's horrible.
It's not good at all.
And this is something that I thought that would rejuvenate his career. He's going back to the club it all started with. And it started off pretty well. I mean, he was scoring a couple goals here, and then the fans were loving it. So what happened between now and 9 months ago?
Yeah, but it's tough for a team like Inter Milan, who just finished second in Champions League. It's tough for a Napoli side who's flying to say, take Neymar just to help him to get a World Cup.
But
World Cup. Those teams don't care about that. Those teams want to know
No. And
they're looking at league, they're looking at
Yeah.
Champions League, and can this player come and impact the team? So it'll be a tough, tall order, I should say, for him to go back to Europe now and have a rekindle that career.
Well, I'm not saying that Inter Milan or Napoli should take him. I'm saying that, like, let's call a spade here what it is. His agent offered him to them.
That's what I'm saying. It's not even like they wanted him. Right?
So that brings to the point you said earlier. The club Santos probably doesn't want him there anymore. So you're 33 years old, man. Like, at some point, you got to come to the realization that, shit, it's me. Like, I'm the problem here. Because I honestly can't remember the last time I watched him and I was like, he's one of the best players in the world. Never mind, I can. 2020 Champions League final. That's 5 years ago. Okay? Since then, I don't know who I'm looking at. I quite frankly don't know what to expect. The reason why he has garnered all this attention and all these followers and all this respect in the game, they're for things he did 5+ years ago.
No, when he went to Santos, right? He first few games he was.
That's what I'm saying, man.
And then it goes back into the, goes back into whatever it is that's bringing him back to that dark place. But I hope he gets it, man. I hope he gets it because, like I said, at 33, Neymar, he's still a player that could offer so much. Still very gifted, still very talented, and I hope that he's found a renewed love and passion for the game that we once knew him for, and because Brazil does needs to answer those questions because after this qualifying round, they struggled, right?
I sound harsh, but
A little bit.
just
a little bit.
All I'm saying is that, I feel bad for him because he's got this, he's had this mental battle of trying to fall in love with the game again.
Yeah, but it's also the environment he created for himself.
But just saying, and that's paired with, he's got some of the worst injury luck I've ever seen in my life.
Fair. Valid.
Multiple horrible ankle injuries, knee injuries, thigh injuries, hamstring injuries. It's unlucky. Like, maybe you're not taking care of yourself. Maybe I'm not reading into the situation enough. But on the other hand, you'd be a fool to say that this guy isn't injury prone, that he isn't extremely unlucky, that every time he steps to the door, he's got to worry about rolling his ankle and breaking the thing in half. So I feel bad for him. But at the same time, a lot of this is on him. A lot of this. And I hate it because I grew up with Neymar. I grew up watching Neymar and being like, Jesus, this is the next guy, and I'll leave you with this. Brazil's record with Neymar, 58 matches, 41 wins, 13 draws, only 4 losses, 124 goals scored, 31 goals conceded. Brazil's record without Neymar, 47 matches, 22 wins, 14 draws, 11 losses, only 77 goals scored, 42 goals conceded. Stats don't lie. They are better with him in there. But will he be able to make it into 2026? I'm leaning no.
It will be difficult.
I'm leaning
definitely
no.
be difficult. And if he does, I hope he brings the Neymar that we all watched and admired. And I hope he's healthy. I hope it works out for him because he's exciting to watch. So if Brazil comes here and Neymar's playing, shit, why not?
We're going to that game.
We're
going. Now, let's go on a later note. I got some rapid fire questions for you, man. And what inspired me is you posted this, you collabed on a post with San Jose Earthquakes, and there was like this thunderbolt free kick. Like it was insane. Like one of the best free kicks I've ever seen. So I have questions pertaining to your career, all right? First rapid fire question. Best player you ever played with?
Wow, being fortunate to play with a lot of good players, man. Great players in their own right. Thierry Henry, I think he's up there. Len Donovan, Brian Ching, Ricardo Clark. So I've been very fortunate to play with some great players. Julian de Guzman. You know, when I think about players, I think about these type of players.
Yeah, that's a pretty good list. Funniest guy in the locker room.
For national team, I gotta say Jimmy Brennan and Mark Bertram.
You got any funny stories?
I got so many.
Give me one.
Adrian Saru too.
Yeah.
Oh, man! Always have me laughing. Stu Holden, he's good in the locker room. These guys are always doing pranks.
Give me one of the pranks. What was one of them that you can remember?
Oh man, I remember U20 U20 qualifiers. These guys bought this big anaconda and put it in the bathtub.
Like a fake one or a real one?
No, real one.
Oh.
And put it in the bathtub, right? In the hotel room. And like, yo, man, open the door. Hey, man, look, there's a snake in here. Like, yeah, get out of here, man. We're fucking around. What snake? I remember Jason, man, opened the door, like, holy fuck. Man, flew out of there. Like, I've never seen a guy move so quick. This guy was on top of the TV stand. So, you fucking, there's a snake. I go, what do you mean there's a snake? There's a snake in the room, man. So we all run to the room like, yo, get out here, man. Open the doors like, holy. Everyone's like,
big anaconda.
Big anaconda. So of course now they like call the hotel. Like, okay, now that the snake's in, they're like, okay, who's moving it? who's gonna move it?
Not you.
So they call the hotel security guys. Yes, okay, well, yeah, whatever. You guys, Canada, you don't know about snake, whatever. It's probably some yard snake. Whatever. He opens the door and freaks the fuck out. Just like, what the fuck's that? We got in a lot of shit for that. So we used to do stuff like that, like. Put mice in
I'm sure the hotel manager wasn't happy when he walked into one of his rooms.
Stuff like that. Bunch of birds. You open the door, birds are flying.
Birds are flying in the room.
What else are you gonna do for you had 2.5 weeks of training camp?
If I was a hotel manager and I walked up, these guys are bullshitting. They don't got a snake in there. 20-foot anaconda.
That era we were
birds flying in the room, man. Oh, mice. What a disaster!
Guys and stuff. Yeah, fun. But those guys are also just comical. Just everything they just always make jokes about just everything. Just make it fun, man. Make the environment.
Fantastic.
When they say when players retire, what do you miss? You say you miss the locker room, the banter.
That's what you miss. Yeah,
those guys, man. Yeah.
Personal now, right? The favorite goal you've ever scored.
My first international goal for Canada always would be a memorable one. I think we played against Korea in the Gold Cup, so that was for me was a special one. And of course, my MLS Cup championship goals: 2001, 2003 assists, 2006 penalty shot goal, and then 2007 game-winning goal. Those for me were
just a casual list of MLS Cup goals. Just casual, that is what it is.
Those for me stand out because that's what you play for at the end of the day.
Yeah,
to win the championship it's a great feeling.
What about like the best goal you've ever scored? Like definitively.
Well, the free kick against LA was one.
That one was insane.
My volley against DC. Bicycle kicks are always.
Who doesn't love a good
bicycle kicks?
Yeah. Last moment. The most memorable moment of your career?
Getting called for the national team.
Yeah?
Yeah.
We'll explain that. What was that like?
It was
Where were you?
It was emotional, man. I was in Scarborough in the apartment building, and I got a call saying they wanted me to come. It was actually Bob Landus at the time wanted to come train with the national team, and I was like, fly out to Vancouver. Or no, it was a local camp that they had, and for me that was everything. That was like, wow, like,
unbelievable. Yeah, you must have been so excited, eh?
Yeah, because I knew that was my chance. Man.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? That's like you play for Canada, you play for your national team. That's your chance to make it. You don't get a lot of opportunities like that, and to know that out of a 22, 24, 26 man roster, it was a camp. There's a bunch of us making our first call up, and it was the good old right down the street here at Varsity Stadium.
Oh wow, yeah, it was right there.
The black the black track.
Yeah.
You know, a little, I don't know, with the tar track, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And there, you know, and look, you know, Jeff Onger, Mark Watson, you know, Alex Bunbury, Paul Pesolito, Guzman, Tommy Guzmanis. Yeah, it was just like, wow. I felt like I made it, because you gotta remember, like I'm government housing. I'm like, you know, hustling. I'm doing crazy shit as a young kid.
You're doing the records, the mixtapes.
I'm hustling. I'm doing whatever I gotta do to feed myself and to not ask my parents for money. So I was a young entrepreneur, and when I got that call, it just was like, you know, steered me to say, you know what, hey, this is the path you need to go. Yeah, and I didn't look back.
Brilliant. Well, and that'll be it for episode 6 of DeRo and the Diehard. Thank you very much for listening. We'll be back next Friday and every Friday after that with the best football content north of the border. DeRo?
Thank you guys for listening. Always a pleasure. Episode 6 wrapped up in the books. Stay tuned for next week, DeRo and the Diehard, episode 7, where we're again bringing the latest, the greatest of football. I hope you're liking it so far. Stay tuned, stay locked, and see you guys next week.